It's November 1982. A revolutionary tech product has just been shown at Comdex. The product, known as Vision, is the first graphical interface for the IBM PC. And Bill Gates is panicking, as Microsoft does not have a similar product yet. 3 years later, they do. Microsoft was put under further pressure in 1983 when Apple released the Lisa, which was leagues ahead of previous GUIs. The Lisa was originally based on the research of the Xerox PARC, so Microsoft hired one of the original designers of the Xerox PARC, Scott A. McGregor, as head of development for Windows, then codenamed Interface Manager. The first demo of the Windows project was shown to the press in September of 1983, sporting an interface that was very similar to Microsoft's other DOS programs like Word and Multiplan. This demo showed how Windows was going to stand out from the competition by providing several bundled applications, as well as development tools so it was easier for programmers to create applications to run on Windows, and they could also use DOS as a platform instead of Unix. Well-behaved programs could run in tiled windows among other programs, though the more unruly programs could instead run in full screen. And did I mention, it had color too. Later pre-release builds expand on the desktop metaphor, as Microsoft was committing to a complete office system on the PC. The development was very high profile and faced fierce competition from other companies like Apple with the Lisa and later the Macintosh, Digital Research with their GEM desktop, and IBM with TopView. Windows was originally slated for an April 1984 release, but ultimately this was delayed to November of 1985. Windows 1.0 laid the groundwork for all future Windows versions to follow. It boasted several UI features that are now commonplace. Windows are open to maximize in this version, and unlike in later versions, are not allowed to overlap. Minimized programs are iconified, or put in the icon bar at the bottom of the screen, when another program is opened. You can double-click an icon to maximize its window, or drag to the side to tile it alongside another. But window management has some other weird gimmicks. You can adjust the tiled window's size with the box at the top right. You can also double-click the title bar to minimize a window. The control box at the top left of each window contains every windowing function, including one exclusive to the menu, which is Zoom, which puts the window into full screen covering the icon bar. You can also double-click the control box to quickly close a window. These features may seem rather bizarre by today's standards, though most of them are still present in Windows. One feature that has not stood the test of time, however, is the MS-DOS Executive, which is a basic file manager that opens when you start up Windows. It is easier than a command line in perusing files and folders, though not in batch operations, as it has no clipboard, no drag and drop, and no icons. Any advanced file operations are instead done through the menu bar, which lead to very basic dialogues that make you feel like you may as well just use a command line. In addition, the only way to launch programs in Windows 1.0 is to open the exe files from the MS-DOS Executive. Windows 1.0 comes with several built-in programs, most of which resemble desktop accessories. You have early versions of Notepad, Paint, and Calculator, which are mostly the same as in the later versions of Windows. Of course, Notepad's memory buffer is roughly the size of a grape. Other programs include a massively different control panel. It doesn't have nearly as many options as modern control panel, though to be fair, this isn't really an operating system, it's more of an operating environment, so it makes sense for there to only be color scheme and printer options. You also have a basic calendar program, which is more of a daily planner. You have Cardfile for storing your business contacts, and Write, an early version of WordPad. There's also a terminal emulator that can connect to mainframes, and of course, a clock, because everyone loves clocks. And of course, Steve Ballmer's favorite, Reversi. I'd go more in detail on this game, but I think the following commercial will explain it pretty well.
And can you believe it? Reversi! That's right! All these features in Reversi, all for
Windows 1.0 was often criticized for its steep system requirements. One of the main side effects of being a GUI released in the 1980s was that you're being released in an age where if you ask most people to have a mouse on their desk, they'd be like, what? No. It's gonna gnaw its way through my floppy drive and probably die in the process, and then I'm gonna need a new floppy drive, and those things are expensive. So most people suck with a keyboard, and as such, we're subject to Windows 1.0's world-class keyboard optimizations. If you push Alt plus the first letter of a menu item, then you can arrow key through its menu and then push Enter. You can push Alt space to quickly access the control box, and then simply use the keyboard to access window functions. Suffice to say, these functions are very sluggish with the keyboard. In addition, you can Alt-Tab to cycle through windows, that's never gone away. And of course, the programs offer varying degrees of keyboard optimization themselves. Programs like Notepad and Write obviously work pretty well with the keyboard. Microsoft Paint can also be technically used with a keyboard, though it is very slow and your drawings will come out very geometric looking. And I mean, if that's what you're going for, then it does work. You can also push the Tab key to alternate through controls in a dialog. What, you were expecting more? No, that's it. That's the full extent of keyboard optimization in Windows 1.0. This is of course not a problem nowadays, as most people already have the Sinky rodents living on their desk, but it does go to show just how different the software landscape was in the 80s. This also begs the question, if you had to use Windows 1.0 in 2024, could you? Does it still get the job done with the same elegance, or lack thereof, as in 1985? I'd love to answer this question now, but I've decided that in true software fashion, I'll instead make you wait for the next incremental upgrade. Stay tuned for Techtrospective Episode 2 on Windows 2.x.